Artha Yogang Janjan Madasraya Asang Samagra Mam Jatha Ghasasi Tachinu. So Krishna is advising simply by increasing your attachment for Krishna, simply always being absorbed in the thought of Krishna, we can be eligible to understand the whole knowledge, complete knowledge, without any doubt. By our mental speculation, we acquire knowledge, but there are so many doubts. So many doubts. In the 9th chapter, also in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Prattakham avagavam dharmam. Prattakham, Krishna consciousness, knowledge is so perfect that prattakham avagavam. You can directly perceive how far you are making progress. You don't require to take certificate from others whether you are progressing or not. You will understand yourself. The example is given just like a hungry man is eating. So, as he going on eating, he is getting strength and his hunger is being satisfied. So he can understand himself. Nobody requires to certify, now you are satisfied or now. Similarly, bhakti, Krishna consciousness is so perfect that prattakham avagavam, one can understand directly. Bhakti parishanubhava virakti annatrasya. This is the taste of bhakti marga. Therefore Krishna says asaṅga. The theoretical knowledge, experimental knowledge, always remains in doubt. All the scientists, they are not confident. Now there is a theory of uncertainty among the scientists. Whatever knowledge they are making progress, everything is uncertain. Yes, it must be uncertain, because the basic principle is wrong. Therefore it must be uncertain. A conditioned soul, as we are, under the condition of the material nature, 3 modes of material nature, how our knowledge can be perfect? It is not possible. The first defect is, because we are conditioned, we commit mistake, so many, and we become illusion. Just like every knowledge is being based on the illusion that I am this body, material body, which I am not. But the whole world is going on under this conception that I am this body, I am American, I am Indian, I am Brahmana, like that. So, the basic principle is illusion. And there are so many mistakes we commit. And the senses are imperfect. And although my senses are imperfect, I theorize, it may be, it is like this, it is like that. These are all imperfect things. Therefore, whatever knowledge we may make progress, it is samsaya. It remains the uncertainty. But what Krishna says, you can taste him with your experimental knowledge. That is Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge, it is not dogma. The statement is there after sufficient experiment. So if we accept Vedic knowledge, we save so much time. We may go on experimenting with our limited power of senses, but that will always remain doubtful. But if we accept Vedic knowledge, apurusha knowledge, then it is perfect. Sādhu-saṅga samagram. This samagram, this word is very significant. Samagram means complete. To understand Krishna means to understand the whole cosmic manifestation, God, the material nature, the time factor, the living entities, their respective relationship, everything, that is called samagram. Not that a Krishna conscious person does not know about the creation of the material manifestation. He knows by his reason. That will be explained in this chapter, 7th chapter, how this material creation is going on. The modern scientists, they put up creation that there was a chunk and it was burst into pieces, then the planetary system came into existence. But if we inquire where from this chunk comes, that they cannot answer. Therefore, the so-called scientific knowledge always remains in doubt. Darwin's theory, there are so many passages, it may be, perhaps, so these things, perhaps it may be, that is not certain. Therefore, they have now accepted the theory of uncertainty. But here, if we hear from Krishna, then it is perfect knowledge, samagram. How this material world is created, how these are 5 elements of gross elements come into existence, everything will be explained. Sādhu-saṅga samagram ma. To understand Krishna means to understand everything. Therefore, tatyam manusyanam sahasreshu koschid jatati siddhaye jatatam api siddhyanam koschid vetimam tattva. We have to understand Krishna in truth. Simply, superficially, if we understand Krishna, that Krishna was born of the father and mother, Devaki and Vasudeva, and he was born in Mathura, and then played with the gopis, and then he taught something on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. That is not sufficient knowledge. We should try to understand samagram as far as possible incomplete. Then our devotion, our love for Krishna will be increased. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Siddhanta boliya chitte na karo olos, yaha haite Krishna lage sudhira manas. Siddhanta, conclusive understanding. You should try to understand Krishna. Simply by understanding Krishna, life becomes perfect. Janma karma me dibbam jujanati tattva. Tapta diham punarjanma nahi. We can become liberated. Therefore, Chaitanya, Kaviraj Goswami recommends that try to understand Krishna in truth. And another place, it is said, Chaitanyer dayar katha karaho vichar. Vichar korile chitte pave chamatkar. It is not blindly accepted, this Krishna consciousness. With considerable deliberation, we take the decision. All the acharyas, they have taken decision. Therefore, in the next verse, Krishna says, Jnanam tehang sabhijnanam. This knowledge with practical understanding, sabhijnanam. Vijnanam means practical application. We understand Krishna as the Supreme. He is the creator of this cosmic manifestation. He is the Supreme. We are all subordinate. This is Jnanam, and Sabhijnanam, when it is practically applied, that means when you take to devotional service, then it is practically application, practice. Jnanam tehang sabhijnanam bhakhyami asesata jajgatani abhuya annaj jnatavam avasishyate. So, when we understand perfectly, complete knowledge, then there is no more anything remains to be understood, everything. Tasmin vijñāte sarvamedam vijñātam. So, the Bhagavad Gita is not theory, it is knowledge and practically applicable in life, savijñā. And if we try to understand Krishna in perfect order, then there is nothing remains to be understood. Everything becomes revealed. This knowledge becomes revealed. Naham prakasa sarvasya jugumaya samabd. Revealed. Athapi te deva padam mujadayam prasadalisana grihita. So we have to receive this knowledge submissively. The Lord Brahma recommends that jnani prayasam mudapasa namanta eva. Namanta. We must be submissive. The whole thing depends. Spiritual knowledge. Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva vigacche samitpani srotriyam brahmani. Tad vidhi pranipate no pariprasne no sivaya. So, this knowledge, this process of knowledge is received by submissive mode, jnani prayasa, udapasa. One has to give up the false, prestigious position that I can understand God and everything by my speculative, experimental knowledge. This is called jnani prayasa. Jnani prayasam udavasa namanta eva. One should be submissive. Sanmukharitanga bhavadiya vartam. And try to hear the message of the Lord from sanmukharitam, sadhu, devotees. Sanmu, not professional. Sri Sanatana Goswami has strictly forbidden avaishnava mukhadgina puta hari kathamritam savanam na kartavyam. Avaishnava, those who are not practically Vaishnava, devotee in practical life, professional person, there is no use. Avaishnava, there must be heart and soul Vaishnava. Avaishnava mukhadginam puto harikathamritam. Harikatha, the words about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, certainly that is amritam. But still, it should not be heard from a person who is not a devotee. Okay. So, avaishnava mukhadgina puta hari kathamritam savanam na kartavyam. And it is forbidden, don't hear. Why? Hari kathamrita, Krishna katha, the message of God, the words of God, Bhagavad Gita, he may be anything, but the katha is the same, so what is the harm to hear from a Vaishnava? Sanatana Goswami gives the example sarpachishta payojatha. Sarpachishta payojatha. Sarpachishta, just like milk, everyone knows, a very nice food, most nutritious food. But if it is touched by the leap of a serpent, and immediately spoiled. Immediately. Another place, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mayavadi bhasya sunile hoye sarvanash. If we hear Mayavadi bhasya, commentaries by the Mayavadis, those who do not accept the personality of God, they are called Mayavadi. Mayavadi means they see everything Maya, even Krishna is Maya. That is called Mayavadi. The Mayavadi philosophy is that when Krishna comes, he comes with a material body. That is called Mayavadi. God is impersonal. When he comes, he takes a form. He takes the form of this matter. This is Mayavadi. There are so many faulty statements of the Mayavadi. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has says, Mayavadi hoy Krishna aparadhi. They are offenders. Offenders. Therefore, Mayavadi bhasya sunile hoy sarvanash. One becomes doomed by hearing the Mayavadi commentary. This is so much condemned. So, actually, by the grace of Krishna, we can understand that the absolute truth is ultimately the Supreme Person. But we cannot accommodate within our teeny brain how the Supreme Absolute Truth can be a person. That is the difficulty. That is the difficulty of Mayavad philosophy. That is the Kupamandukanda. That because I am a person, I am so much limited. How a person can be unlimited? That is the difficulty for them. But therefore, to remove this difficulty, one has to surrender. Without surrendering, it is not possible to understand. Therefore, Krishna demands surrender. Then you will understand. Naham prakasa sarvasya yuga maya samabdita. By challenging, you cannot understand actually what is Krishna. One has to become submissive. So jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshami aseshata jasgatya na iha bhuya annajgatam brahma vasishyate. Then Krishna says, Manusyanam sahasreshu kashchi jatati siddha. Jatatam api siddhanam kaschin mang vetti tata. Manusyanam sahasreshu. Generally, all human society, especially at the present moment, nobody cares for perfection of life. They do not know what is perfection of life. Just like animals, they do not know what is perfection of life. They think perfection of life to gratify the senses. We have got these senses, let us, because they have no idea that there is life after death. Therefore, their only proposition is, now we have got this life, and we have got these senses, let us enjoy it to the fullest extent. This is their perfection. But actually that is not perfection. Perfection means, self-realization means to know that aham brahmasmi, I am not this matter, I am spirit soul. To understand this. Brahma bhuta prasannat. So therefore, mostly people are engaged in the animal propensities of life. Ahara nidra bhaya maithunancha. Eating, sleeping, sex life, and defense. They are busy. But these things are visible in the animal life also. Then what is the special significance of the human life? Human life means athāta brahma jigyāsa. The human being should be inquisitive to understand Brahma. That is the special significance of human life. Narottam Das Thakur therefore sings, Manusya janama paiya Radha Krishna na bhojiya janiya suniya bisha khai. Narottam Das Thakur laments, Hari Hari bifale janama pai. My Lord, I have simply spoiled my life. Why? You have spoiled, you are eating very nicely, sleeping very nicely. No. Manusya janama Radha Krishna, Manusya janma. This human form of life is especially meant for understanding Radha Krishna. Krishna means Radha Krishna. Krishna means everything, samagra. So understand Krishna. That is the special mission of human life. So I did not try for it. I simply carried away by the waves of Maya. And the Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Mayar vase jaccho bhese khacho habudu. We are being carried away by the waves of these material modes of nature, sometimes drowned, sometimes on the surface. In this way our life is going on. Jeev Krishna Das e vishwas korle to ar dukkha na. But we can stop this being carried away by the waves of Maya simply if we accept that we are eternal servant of Krishna. We can stop the carrying away. Therefore, people do not understand this. Krishna himself says, Manusyanam sahasreshu. Sahasreshu means out of millions of them. They are interested how to make life perfect. Nobody is interested, especially in this age. In this age, prayana alpa ayusha sabdha kalavasmin yugejana. The first disqualification is that in this age, people do not live for a long time. First disqualification. Formerly they were healthy and they could live about 100 years. As we have seen our grandfather, they used to live. My grandmother died at the age of 96 years. Similarly, there are many instances. People used to live for a long time. But the first qualification of this age, that they are dying 50, 60, 45. The India's average age is 35 and other countries little more. So practically nobody is living very long time. Prayena alpayayus. And manda, they do not know that they have a mission of life. Siddhi, they do not know. Like cats and dogs dying. Prayena alpayayus kalavasmin yuge manda sumanda matayo. And if one is interested for spiritual life, they are also captured by so many pseudo-spiritual things. Mandas. Prayena alpayayusha kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo. They have got a different views. They do not like to take knowledge from the Vedic, perfect knowledge from the Vedic literature or from Bhagavad Gita. They manufacture their own way of life. This manda samanda matayo and manda bhagya and unfortunate. Mostly they are unfortunate. And chubadrita and disturbed by so many things, sometimes earthquake, sometimes famine, sometimes scarcity of water, sometimes war, sometimes fight, so many things, problems, simply problems. This is the position of this age. So, if one is actually interested to make his life perfect, then we should accept the standard knowledge instead of manufacturing different ways. No. Here is standard knowledge, Bhagavad Gita, the Shastra, Sadhu-Shastra Guru Vakya, Tine te Koryayo, Jasastra Vidivusijya Vartate Kamakara. If we do not follow the standard knowledge of perfect Shastra, then Krishna says, no siddhim savamnati, he never gets siddhi. Here it is said, siddhaye, manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid jatati siddhaye. Siddhaye, to become perfect. So, unless we follow the injunction of this Shastra, then there is no possibility of siddhi. Na siddhim savamnati, no sukhanga na parangati. Neither perfection, neither happiness in this life, and what to speak of next life. These things are not possible if we do not follow standard knowledge. So, for this standard knowledge, manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid jatati siddhaya. And those who have taken this standard knowledge, jatatamapi siddhyana. So, first, by standard knowledge, by understanding Vedas, that is standard knowledge, still, although they are siddhas, still they do not understand Krishna. Just like karmis, gyanis, yogis, they are taken to standard knowledge, that's a fact. But still, they cannot understand Krishna. The Mayavadis, the impersonalists, the speculators, they cannot understand. They are surprised. How Krishna can be this absolute truth? Even a great scholar, Dr. Radha Krishna, he is also amazed. He says that Bhagavad Gita is mental speculation. And when Krishna says on the 9th chapter, he writes commentary, Manmana bhavamad bhakta madjari namaskuru. He says that it is not up to Krishna, but the fact which is within Krishna. So he does not know what is Krishna, and still he dares to write commentary on Bhagavad Gita. This is the difficulty. Krishna has no inside or outside. Krishna is all spirit, Satchidananda Vigraha. So he does not know. Not only he, many does not know. But the thing is that they dare to write commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Therefore here it is said, the manusyanam sahasreshu kaschi jatati siddha, jatatamapi siddhana. First of all, one must be perfect. And amongst the perfect, there Krishna is known very rarely. Amongst the perfect, what to speak of the imperfect? Manusyanam sahasreshu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says therefore, Koti kormi madhye ag gyani shrestha. There are millions and millions of karmis working hard for sense gratification. They are called karmis. Koti kormi madhye ag gyani shrestha. One becomes gyani, he is the chief. Then koti gyani madhye ag mukta shrestha. Out of many thousands of gyanis, one becomes actually liberated. And koti mukta madhye dullabha Krishna. He says, out of many muktas, liberated souls, it is very difficult to find out a Krishna bhakta, a devotee of Krishna. These things are there. So Krishna also says, manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid jatati siddhaya. But this Krishna bhakti has become easily available through the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so liberal. The Rupa Goswami offered him respect. Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna prema pradaya. People cannot understand what is Krishna and what to speak of Krishna prema, love of Krishna. It is far, far away. But you are so magnanimous that you are distributing this Krishna prema to everyone. Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna prema pradayati Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya. You are Krishna, I can understand, but you have now appeared in the name of Krishna Chaitanya. Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna prema pradayati Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya namne Gauratise namo namo. So, Lord Chaitanya is accepted as Krishna himself. Krishna Varnam Shastra. There are many evidences in the Shastra. So, it is due to Lord Chaitanya's mercy if we go through the methods. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared as a devotee to teach us how to execute devotional service. So if we follow the footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Krishna Bhakti becomes very easily available. Therefore, first of all, we offer our respect to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi, Gaur Bhakta. Then we chant Hare Krishna, because by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, it will be easier to approach Krishna. Tadviddhi pranipatena, as it is stated. So, manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid jatati siddhaye jatatam api siddhyanam kaschid mang veti tattata. So, Krishna consciousness, although it is very difficult, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, it has become easily available. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended Parang Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. He has recommended Sri Krishna Sankirtana, although he is Krishna himself, his word is sufficient. Still, whatever he said, he gave reference to the Shastra. Otherwise, it is not, it is authority. That is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Parambhava. These are the recommendations. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whatever he has given us, not whimsically, according to the regulation of the Shastra, and if we follow the footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Krishna consciousness will be very easily understandable. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended Jare dakho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. This is the Krishna consciousness movement, that according to the order of Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are trying to distribute the words given by Krishna, Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means the words given by Krishna and the words about Krishna. The words given by Krishna personally is this Bhagavad Gita, and words about Krishna is Srimad Bhagavatam. So, this Krishna consciousness movement means preaching these two principal Vedic literature throughout the whole world. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. That every living entity is Prakriti. Every living entity. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said that Aparayam itastu vidhi me prakriting para jiva bhut. Every living entity is woman. Those who are thinking of becoming man, they are in illusion. Prakriti Purush. Purush means the bhokta, the enjoyer. And Prakriti, Sri means enjoy. So every living entity is described as Prakriti. No living entity is Purusha. Purusha is only Krishna. So, when we are thinking I have become a Purusha, enjoyer, that is Maya. That is Maya. Or man. But actually, every one of us, woman, Prakriti. Every one of us. And every one of us are thinking as man. Even the woman. Man means enjoyer. So everyone is thinking enjoy, I am enjoy. And this is called Maya. And about the gopis, it is better not to speculate. The speculator's writing has no value. Gopis, they are pleasure potency expansion of Krishna. Ananda chinmaya sadujjala vigrahas. Ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavita stabhijya eva nija rupataya kalabhi. Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhuta govindamadi purusa. So gopis are also expansion of Krishna. Krishna's pleasure potency. Gopis are not these ordinary women. Neither Krishna is ordinary man. So, unless we understand Krishna, as we are discussing this morning the verse, Kaschid Vettimam Tattva. Out of many millions of siddhas, one can understand Krishna as he is. If we do not understand Krishna, then how we can understand gopis? So this is not the subject matter of the mental speculators. Better not to read all these books, because they are not realized souls, neither they are devotee of Krishna, neither they know what is Krishna. So what they will understand about Krishna? So, if we want to understand Krishna, gopis, then we have to learn it from the perfect devotee of Krishna, not from the speculators, mental speculators. This is simply waste of time. Just like Narottam Das Thakur says, Rupa Raghu Natho Pade Hoive Akuti Kobe Hamo Bujhava se Jugalo Piriti. Jugala Piriti, the love between Krishna and Radharani, the gopis are expansion of Radharani, pleasure potency of Krishna. These are all spiritual subject matter. So this is not mental. A ordinary man, if he thinks that I am becoming God, that is artificial. That is artificial. This is not artificial thing. And the parokia ras, the sense of paramercy, that is also there. But this is not this parokia ras, as we understand from this material world. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami has said that Avaishnava mukhadgirna puta hari katha amrita samanam na karta. Those one who is not Vaishnava, so it is mental speculator, it is useless to learn from them what is the relationship between the gopis and Krishna. Neither it has to be practiced artificially. These things are rejected. So my request is that you should not read all these books, simply waste your time. No. Krishna's pleasure potential. This has been discussed by Srila Jiva Goswami, that Krishna is Parabrahma, and to relish Brahma Sukha, a person in austerity gives up all the material sense enjoyment. Tapasa brahmacharjena, they try to release Brahma Sukha. Now, when they Brahma Sukha Krishna is the goal of Brahma Sukha Anubhuti. So, when Brahma wants to have pleasure, does it mean that he takes pleasure within this material world? To understand Brahma, one has to give up all material pleasures. And when the Brahma releases pleasure, does it mean this is material pleasure? Try to understand this fact. For releasing Brahma Sukha, one undergoes severe austerities. Tapasa brahmacharjena, samena, dhamena. There are so many processes. Tapo dibbang, suddhita satya. For purifying our existence, we have to adopt so many means of austerities for understanding what is Brahma Sukha. Now, the reservoir of Brahma Sukha, Krishna, Parabrahma, when he enjoys, does it mean this is material thing? This is not material. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita. That is the expansion of his spiritual bliss. Radha Krishna Pranaya Brikiti Allahadini Shakti Asma. That is the expansion of Krishna's Allahadini Shakti. So, first of all, we have to understand Krishna. Then, in course of understanding Krishna, we shall understand his Sammit Shakti, Allahadini Shakti. So, these things are not subject matter for studying in our conditioned life. It is for the liberated soul. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will find in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he only once discussed about the love affairs of Krishna with gopis, Radharani, gopis, with Ramananda Raya. Never he discussed with anyone else, because he was very elevated, Ramananda Raya. And otherwise, he never discussed. In the Bhagavad Gita also, you won't find Krishna is teaching anything about his relationship with gopis. Just try to understand. This is not the subject matter for a person who is conditioned. Neither it is a subject matter to be discussed and speculated by the conditioned soul. Try to understand this. This is practice. Abhyasa yoga yuktina chetusa nanugata. When we go to the puja room, we take our flowers and chandan offered to the lotus feet of Krishna. So gradually our mind will be concentrated. Just like not nowadays, formerly young, very young girls were married. My eldest sister was married at the age of 9 years. So I heard that my mother-in-law was married at the age of 7 years. I was grihastha and I was also married. My wife was 11 years. So, in that minor ages, there is no actually love between husband and wife. But still, formally, the system was that the young girl, minor girl, was giving some eatable foodstuff to the husband and sometimes pan, like that. But unless they were major, they are not allowed to live together. But these things are going on. So, similarly, gradually, we develop our love for Krishna. As the same example, in the young age, the minor girl and the young boy, they do not come to the love platform, but in mature time, they become so lovable each other that they cannot be separated. Similarly, we have to practice. This Archan Marga means practice. Immediately, you cannot expect that your mind is completely fixed up with Krishna. But if we follow the regulative principles, then it will mature. Mature. And mature stage, there will be love. So don't be disappointed. Go on with your regulative principle as they advised in the Shastra and the Guru, Sadhu Guru Shastra Vakya. We have to stick to the principle. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, Utsahat, Dhaijyat, Nishchayat, Tat Tat Karma Pravartana, Sato Vritte Sadhu-saṅga Sarabhi Bhakti Prasiddhati. The first thing is Utsaha. Utsaha, simply on the words of Krishna, that Krishna says, Sarvadharman parittajya mamekam saranam. We must be very enthusiastic. I must surrender to Krishna. Although my mind is going outside, but I must be determined that I must surrender. Utsaha, this is called Utsaha, enthusiasm. Dhaijya, Dhaijya means patience. Oh, I wanted to surrender to Krishna, but mind is going somewhere else. This disturbance. Therefore, the dhaijya. You must be patient. Utsaha, dhaijya, nishchaya. Nishchaya means must be confident. Krishna has said that you surrender unto me and he will give me protection. He must give me. So I must surrender. This is called nishchaya. Utsaha, dhaijya, nishchaya, tat tat karma pravartanat. And you must execute your business as it is advised by the Shastra and Guru. The Utsahat, Dhaijyat, Nishchayat, Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat, Sato Vritte. Your dealings must be very honest, not duplicity. Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat, Sato Vritte, sādhu-saṅga. Therefore this association is required. Sādhu-saṅga is very powerful. Therefore we have opened the society. Society means if you come to the society and if the society is nice, then automatically you learn, you become attached. Just like if we mix, intermingle with drunkard society, gradually we become drunkard. Similarly, if we intermingle with the sadhus, with the devotees, then automatically we become devotees. Sangat sanjayate kamo. Therefore, sadhu-saṅga is very important. Satang prasangatmo bija samvida bhavanti ritkanna rasayana katha tajjosanat asu apavarga vatmani sadhya bhakti rati ranukramish. These are the shastric injunctions. So, as far as possible, we should ado sadhya tato sadhu-saṅga. Sadhu-saṅga is very important. And nowadays it is very difficult to find out sadhu-saṅga. Therefore we are trying to spread this society's movement, that people may take advantage of sadhu-saṅga, and thus automatically, very easily, things may be successful.